Let's talk about cognitive overload and what that even means, and why, as a restaurant brand or tech leader, you should 100% care about this. Cognitive overload is the reason why a lot of people will leave a digital experience and never look back. They're the reason why you lose people when they land on your website, your ordering platform, your apps. So what is cognitive overload? Let me give you a quick definition here. Cognitive science calls it working memory fatigue. And here's what it looks like. The prefrontal cortex starts juggling too many mental tasks, clicks, comparisons, decisions, all of these things. And you get decision paralysis. When that sets in, people can't decide. Instead, they just defer, they leave. And it's a nice way of saying they're ghosting your brand. Emotional centers kick in. Instead of logic, you get gut reactions. And if the experience feels overwhelming, it becomes negative. Even if the product is great, it's not a UX problem, it's a trust problem that actually manifests. Cognitive overload happens when someone lands on a website or a digital menu or actually anything that's designed, and they can't figure out what the focus is. So for restaurant brands, there are a lot of times this happens, and each one I think you'll start to nod your head with. So number one, a bloated digital menu. Modifiers, combos, options, mandatory selections, seasonal one-offs, pop-ups, all just slapped into place with images, headlines, long descriptions. You can see how this becomes quickly overwhelming. So you're asking the guest to decode a matrix instead of deciding to order a damn burger. Number two, Frankenstein-level websites. An events page, catering page, loyalty, jobs, everything vying for the same amount of attention because you don't want to lose the guest. And all of this gets in the way for the number one reason why people want to go to a website for a restaurant, and that is to order. They want to order the food. So if you're throwing up franchising, throwing up careers, throwing up loyalty, jobs, yada, 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 it is going to get overwhelming very quick. Those third-party integrations, modals on top of modals, surprise upcharges, they all feel like trickery. Guests aren't building an order. They're getting into a gauntlet, and it doesn't feel good. The number three area where cognitive overload really comes into play for restaurants is confusing online ordering flows. So third-party integrations, all these other things that make it seem clunky, a flow that doesn't make it easy to understand how to get into an order, how to check out, how to sign into an account or sign up for an account or just go as guest. All these blockages get in place. It's no wonder they leave for DoorDash. DoorDash is easier to use than most restaurant websites because it's not overloading their senses. And then finally, over-designed apps. So it's not about making art, you're selling tacos. But instead, these apps get so overloaded with choices and bursts and headlines, it all gets in the way of what the people really want to do, which is order and collect points, build their loyalty. You have to prioritize utility and cut the fluff. So here's how you avoid cognitive overload in your digital experience. 1. Keep the experience single-threaded. One goal per page, just one. One decision per screen. You want them to order? Remove every link that isn't order-related. You want them to check out? Remove all the navigation items and focus on the checkout. Number 2, simplify the language. Menu items shouldn't read like food critic poetry. Use clear, craveable copy. If it takes effort to read, it won't get ordered. Use great imagery along with your food descriptions and titles. There's a reason why images drive more sales. It's because of cognitive overload. It's easier to look at an image, understand how delicious it is, understand what I'm going to get, than it is to read all about it. People don't read. Next, guide decisions with visual hierarchy. Use size, contrast, and position to guide the user's eye. Make the most profitable or popular items visually dominant, and don't just list everything in an equal way. You have to give effort where it matters most. If you have a popular item, you really want to push it. Make it the bigger thing on the page compared to some of those unpopular items. And you can use that just like you do on print menus and digital menus. Respect cognitive limits. Group info into 3 to 5 chunks at a time. That's what the brain can handle at once, and I would err on the side of 3 more than anything else. Think of it like a drive-through speaker. Short, clear, fast. Do not muddy the waters. Now, this is where white space really comes into play. And I know some brand leaders hate white space on left or right sides of the screen. But the fact is, if you harken back to the newspaper era, there's a reason why the columns are thin. It's easier to read left and right down like this as opposed to the whole entire screen. Same thing when you're grouping things together. Keep things centered in so people don't have to move their head or their eyes too much on a desktop. And of course, on mobile, it's a lot easier to execute against that. Finally, run real-world usability tests. Hand your phone to a non-tech savvy friend and watch them try to place an order and take notes where they struggle and fix. Those are the main ways you can fix cognitive overload. You're not designing for what people can do, and you're not designing for what you want them to do. You need to design for what they came there to do, and with restaurants, it is absolutely to order the food, get the food, and make sure it's a very pleasant experience so they want to come back to your site and not defer to either a competitor or DoorDash and instead of your brand-owned channel. There are a lot of other ways to fight cognitive overload and overcome it, but the fact is, you need to know about it, you need to know what it is, you need to know how to fight it. And when you do that, you're going to have a stellar digital experience that increases sales, AOVs, and a lot of other KPIs, including inaccurate orders. If you want more content like this, please like, subscribe, share with all of your friends. That helps us do this more and more often. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this. And of course, I would love to hear your horror stories as well as any wins that you had when you focused on reducing cognitive overload and decision paralysis. As always, I'm Joseph. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.